Good evening. This is Rudy Giuliani, and this is the Rudy Giuliani Show on Lindell TV. And Lindell TV is going to have the privilege tonight of having Mike Lindell on in a very, very short while. And tonight is, of course, Holy Thursday, the really beginning of the most sacred part of Holy Week. The night of, as the Last Supper itself suggests, Jesus' creation of the Eucharist as a sacrament, as a commemoration of him for his apostles and his followers forever. It's a beautiful story, a beautiful ceremony. And of course, it's been carried out endlessly in the most beautiful cathedrals and churches in the world, and in underground huts and hidden places and catacombs. And in China to this day, it's carried out under threat of death by many of the Chinese authorities. The same thing is true in other parts of the world, where Christianity is probably the most brutalized religion. Now, it is true, it is also the most brutalized religion because it's the largest, but the fact is that that doesn't take away from the fact that it's heavily pursued for destruction, which is largely ignored, which really should be one of the things that you vow as part of your remembrance of this Holy Week. And then as we go into tomorrow, tonight, the betrayal of Jesus, and the washing of the feet also at the Last Supper, which is a beautiful ceremony. And then the betrayal of Jesus and his crucifixion and his forgiveness of those who know not what they do. And then his glorious resurrection from the dead, and pointing out to us the way to paradise. All of that story will be relived and absorbed again by all of us who follow Jesus as our Lord and our Savior and our God. And even for those who don't, it'll bring a special blessing to the world and to them. So I hope you do put enough time aside with everything else that's going on in this very, very complicated and difficult world, to spend time remembering these things, participating in your religious tradition, so that you can remember them and they can become part of you, and you can find better and more effective ways to make them part of you and part of the world. Tonight, to me, as an altar boy, tonight's service or this afternoon service, depending on where it was practiced, back in, shall I say, the old days. It was in many parishes, the pastor, or in the case you had a bishop, the bishop would take it upon himself to wash the feet of 12 people. Of course, as a child, it was a very strange thing to see this very imposing figure, the pastor of the parish, the bishop of the diocese, to get on his hands and knees and wash feet. Occasionally, you would get to assist him, and of course, the nuns and others that taught you religion would teach you about how Jesus did that for his to show his apostles that the main lesson that he was teaching them, or one of the two main lessons he was teaching them, is it matters how you treat my people. That's what Christianity is about. It's about being good to other people, not yourself, but to other people, to see in other people Jesus. When you see them, you see me. How you treat them is the way you're treating me. So if you saw me, you would want to wash my feet as God. So wash their feet, no matter how important you are, because you're not that important, nor are you unimportant. In fact, you can't be more important than you are as a child of God. It's a beautiful ceremony, and as your understanding of the complexity of it gets greater and greater and greater, you also grow morally and spiritually and intellectually. And I think we do have a video of it being done tonight at the Vatican, not by the Pope, but by one of the main cardinals. The Pope, of course, is ill. Otherwise, he would be doing this. That's, of course, at St. Peter's Basilica, and there he is washing the people's feet. Everyone looks on. You know, it's one of the great ways you can illustrate the importance of a sacrament or a symbol. So you could tell that story. You could read the story. It'll be read tonight as part of the Passion. It'll be read maybe 4 times over the next 3 nights about Jesus washing the feet. And it's to show that no one is better than anyone else, that we all serve each other. And you remember it. But then when you see the older man who symbolizes the highest authority within that structure, bending down and actually cleaning feet, the visual image begins to suggest things in your mind and emotions that just the mere words do not. And that's what's meant by a sacrament and a religious service. It's to use all the symbolism possible to bring you a greater understanding of the power and glory of God and of your obligations as a child of God. And this is one of the more direct and obvious ones and one of the more beautiful ones. And it almost, I think, always ceases to create its effect because it is somewhat jarring. And it's the alternative name for tonight. Tonight is Holy Thursday, the celebration of the Last Supper, and also Maundy Thursday. Maundy means washing Thursday. So it is a very critical part of tonight's ceremony. And I just wanted you to know it and remember it and think of the symbolism of it and what it means as to who you are, who everyone else is, and what your obligation is to the rest of the world. Because to get to the point of seeing the people that you live with and you are with as manifestations of God and God's children, and understanding even when they go wrong that they're God's children. Oh gosh, there's such growth in that. And a world like that, of course, would be a beautiful world. So tonight we've got a very, very big show. You know what happened at Florida State, another terrible, terrible tragedy. We think the numbers, which have changed substantially, and hardly the most important, the numbers, although I guess to any one of the persons involved, the numbers are important. I believe that 8 people have been seriously injured, 2 dead, 6 alive, 1 critical. It now appears to have been 1 shooter, not 2. It was suspected to be 2 shooters for a while. No use yet. After we speak to Mike, we'll give you more details about him. But right now, it looks like just a horrible, horrible situation in which a person, for reasons we don't understand yet, decided to go and kill all of these people. And probably was intercepted in a mercifully quick way. Or again, it's one of those things where We don't know how far and how bad it would have been. And again, those are the most recent facts. They've changed quite a bit during the day. No criticism of anyone. I can see nothing to criticize in the law enforcement reaction or the school reaction or the anything reaction yet. And we don't know about the history of this man, how much it revealed, how much it didn't. But we will as time passes by so that we learn from it. And of course, what a terrible day for it to happen on Holy Thursday. We can only hope that the families involved feel that having happened on Holy Thursday, there'll be special blessings and special grace for them as they try to deal with the most difficult thing you can deal with in your life, the loss of your parents or your children or your closest friends. So shall we take a break, or is Mike ready for us? Mike is ready? Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mayor. Hey, you missed your calling. What a great pastor you could have been, or great preacher. That's wow. I missed all that. And I know everybody. I was all over the news, the number one story all morning out there, all worldwide, everywhere. They were calling me, but it pales into comparison to the tragedy you just mentioned. And my prayers go out to all the families and everything. How horrific. And but when I was first got up today, the media started attacking me again, and I'll tell you, Mayor, I thought of you. Yeah, they're going. The headlines read: Mike Lindell starts crying when when he tells a judge in the Smartmatic hearing, and I'm going. What? I asked my lawyer, how did this leak out? And I wasn't crying. It's just, it's unbelievable. There was two stories, everybody, that came out today, and one of them, it's hard to imagine. People are going, what are those machine companies are still attacking you? Yeah, absolutely they are, everybody. And they're still attacking me because even though we have our great president in, they want me to stop talking about elections and going to paper ballots and counting. It's that simple, it really is. And Mayor, so in February, I was talking to Ted. Ted goes, what do they care about $60,000? So Smartmatic comes in and says, hey, we want you to put 60,000 in an escrow account for the next 2-3 years till we get to the end zone. And then if we win, we got that money. And I'm going, so I sent back, and they told the judge I had $53 million in my bank accounts. And so I said, let's reach out to the judge. Now, we reached out to the judge yesterday. We had the judge, we had Smartmatic attorney, my attorney, and myself. Now, how this leaked out, I don't know. Maybe it was live in the courtroom on Zoom. I don't know. But anyway, they asked Smartmatic, he said, well, now you want this money held in escrow. And yes, Your Honor, and you told him he had to pay it, but he won't pay it. And he says, well, it says here that you have proof that he has $53 million. And Smartmatic lawyer, this was kind of a trap we set. He goes, well, this was from 2022, Your Honor. And he said, well, how'd you find out about that? He said, we heard about it from another case that Mike's involved in. So I'm sure the Dominion lawyers probably said, hey, Mike Lindell's got all this money, right? Anyway, it went back over to my attorney, and my attorney goes, Your Honor, that was back then. Everybody knows Mike spent tens of millions of dollars trying to secure our elections and help our country. But he says, I can assure you, he has no liquid cash running around right now. Now, the lawyer, the judge came to me. Now, here's where it gets really convoluted. He says, yes, Mike. I'm kind of raising my hand going, hey. And I go, Your Honor, I said, I did have a lot of money back then. I've spent it all. And I said, what they've been doing with this lawfare is trying to ruin me. And that was my quote. So now I'm reading a quote here. I'm in ruins, says teary-eyed Mike Lindell in the Smartmatic hearing. So I wake up this morning and ABC comes out first with this news that I was crying in court and pleading for mercy or whatever. And I'm going, no, I just went, yeah, there it is. I'm in ruins. And ABC comes out with its first, then it was just like Mayor, just like the old days, I go back to not too far back, where every day I would wake up and they would call me from the Washington Post, New York Times, all the way up to
Sure.
the Daily Mail. So here my old buddies are calling me. We were live on a podcast earlier today, and the New York Times called Andy from the New York Times. I said, "Hey, Andy, you're being recorded." We did it live while I was on air, and I go, you're being recorded, so when you do your hit jobs. But the thing is, everybody, throughout that, just like before, it brought back good memories where they're they print this stuff, but then if you read through it, I got to get the message across of what's really
Right.
going on.
Right. After,
You know, you know.
after you got through, after you have to get through there three or four paragraphs of
That's
fiction,
right.
complete fiction. You know,
Yeah, the
you
best one,
jumped up
Mayor.
and
You're gonna
down,
like.
yelling and screaming. You know,
Uh,
they used to say I was pulling my hair out. Of course, that would be pretty hard. But
Oh, here's the best one. Now this one really is crazy. The Washington Post. If y'all get a chance after the show or whatever to go check out
oh,
the
you're talking
Washington
to
Post. So
all my friends,
yeah, yeah.
the Washington
So,
Post. Oh,
so get
yes.
this. Here's the Washington Post. Trump appointee asks IRS to review the audit of MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell. If you read this, everybody, the guy for the Washington Post calls me out. Here's what this one involved is, Mayor. So what with this? About there's something everybody called employee retention credits. If your company stayed open during the China virus, everybody, you got checks from our government in 22, 23. Some of them are still getting them. But here's the thing. You take that money like we did at My Pillow. We paid the taxes on it. It's a corporation. We paid the taxes. Of course, you file your tax return, done. It's done. Well, the IRS came back and said, after Biden's left, Biden's IRS said, "Oh no, we want you all to go back and redo your tax returns from 2020 and 21 and 22 and 23 to take and report that income back in the year you didn't even get it, Mayor." So what I did, I said, this is crazy. Everyone in the country would have to do this. All your stockholders would get bills in the mail for money they didn't even get back then and redo their tax returns for every year up until you got those credits in the mail and you pay tax on that. So what I did is I called up I was audited 3 years ago, everybody. Still going on. That's over the supplement I had to help save our country. And they're trying to say I can't use that deduction back then when I have $10,000 worth of supplement or $10 million of cash that I paid for this supplement that just like ivermectin said, oh, you can't use that. You just go let it rot in a building. Anyway, but I still had those IRS guys' phone numbers and stuff. So I called up the top one. I said, hey, this employee retention credit, I said, is this crazy or what? I said, you really think that everyone in this country, you're going to make everybody redo their tax returns just to move what's already been paid into another year? He goes, Mike, I don't make the laws. He goes, I said, what do you suggest they do? He said, well, he goes, well, you got a big name, or get a hold of the Treasury Department and have them change it. So I did, Mayor. I reached out to someone at the Treasury Department and I said, hey, can you look into this employment retention credit? He goes, Mike, it's the biggest mess ever. Now he sent an email to the someone higher up in the Treasury Department who I still haven't heard from, and I suppose through FOIA requests, the Washington Post gets a hold of that. So the subject they had was, Mike, I heard you reached out to the Treasury Department to tell them you're being picked on by too many IRS audits. I go, who said that? Of course I'm getting picked on, but that's not what I You can't make this stuff up. And then I told the Washington Post, I said, I'm trying to save the country from more nonsense, just like Elon Musk. For why would we waste all this time redoing tax returns when the taxes have already been paid? I said, I'm trying to help other companies in the country and the people so we don't waste time and resources. I said, I don't just go fix my little internal thing. I've been fighting for this country I want everybody so we all save money. And I said, it's as bad as, but I did say to the Washington Post, I said, but if you want to say that I'm getting audited or attacked, I am every day, but it's by you guys.
Right.
It's by you guys. And And then I said,
Is
then
it?
I
Is
said,
it? Mike,
huh?
Mike, let me just ask you: was the Treasury Department looking into this craziness on its own? They must have had this problem with other people too.
Yeah, the guy said he
He
didn't
seemed to
know.
understand
He
it.
just right. He just said it's the biggest mess they've ever seen. This guy at the
Yeah,
Treasury Department. Now he knew who I was, and I said, and this is what the IRS guy goes, Mike, you got a big enough name. You should be able to reach out and change it. The IRS guy, Mayor, the IRS guy knows it's a bad. He goes, I'm just telling you, it's in the law. But it's so stupid. It's like you pay your taxes and we go, you know what? We wanted you to put those back there and pay them 4 years ago and redo every tax return because one goes into the next one. So this, then when I told this to the Treasury Department, he goes, Mike, it's a mess. And I said, well, would you get to someone to get back to me? I do have a solution for it that I think would work. And I haven't heard from him yet. Here's my solution, Mayor, is which I didn't even want to get this to the president, maybe, but I said I figured I'd go where they told me to go, the Treasury Department. But here would be the answer. You say, okay, no matter when you get your checks, because there's some people still waiting on 'em. I know a company friend of mine, he goes, yeah. I go, when you get those checks, he's expecting $2 million. I said, you got to go back and do your tax returns from 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then it'd be 25. And he goes, well, he said, that's a lot of money. I guess I'd have to. But he said, why? And I said, it makes no sense. So so to explain it to you guys, everybody, the way it would be the easiest if the Treasury Department said, "Hey, if you already redid your taxes and filed it there, fine. If you haven't done it, put it in the year that you got the money, like you probably already did. Either way, it's fine because the government's not out any money. But it wouldn't be fair, I guess. Well, I had to go through the process to redo my taxes. You're not out any money. This just makes it fair, so people aren't there that are out there like in my position. There's companies. Now imagine this: you're a stockholder in a company. Okay. And you got those credits in 2023. You got the checks. Your company reported them. You got your K1. They've already been paid.
but
Now,
they all
if you
they
had to
all have to
redo
be
your tax,
changed. They all
what's
they
that?
then all have to be. They would then all have to be changed.
All of them would have to be changed. If you went back to 2020 and the government said, now they go back there and you have to report the income there, even though you didn't get it. Now that stockholder, because he got a K1, now he's going to owe money that he never got the money for back here. Now let's say, well, you'd be credited up here because you would take it off here and put it here. But now what if you left the company? If you left the company, Rudy, or you didn't have the stocks, Mayor, then you would pay money that you never ever received. It's the craziest thing. The IRS guy told me he's been doing this for 20 some years. He said it's the most nonsensical thing he's ever seen in all his years of being in the IRS. Now, of course, the Washington Post. Well, who was that guy? I'm not going to give you his name. Originally, he was one of all the guys that audited me 3 years ago. He actually was kind of human. That's what. I'm not going. It's hard enough finding one of them that's not an attack agent. But this guy was, it's a normal person, and But I'll
Mike,
tell you, it's just.
I got to tell you, it doesn't get you down though.
No, it does get me down, everybody.
Look at look at
You won't see me in. You won't see. I fight. I fight. I fight. And I want to tell everybody. No, I was getting calls from my employees this morning saying, "Hey, are we okay? Are we okay?" Because it hasn't happened to us in a while. The hit jobs go back and
yeah,
back.
right,
Mike
yeah,
Lindell's having an auction. My pillow's gone. And we've learned over 2 years, but this one was different. It was kind of unexpected for my employees. So they're all texting me this morning. I got friends and relatives, and is this the end? I go, no, this is the end. And I said, isn't it good news? They're still attacking me for one reason. Now, Mayor, they know I don't have any liquid money hanging around. So now why would these machine companies still be attacking me? I'll give you a clue. They want me to shut up. And I ain't ever
yeah.
shutting up. And that's a
I don't
fact.
know.
That's why we have Lindell TV. I can sit here and say Dominion, Dominion, Dominion all I want, or Smart Man. You can't be double sued here on Lindell TV. Okay? It's like crazy. And one of the things I want to tell you this is that there's two networks, I guarantee you. One for sure, and it rhymes with Fox. Fox, I guarantee you, will not talk about what happened to me today because they still don't want to talk about anything to do with Mike Lindell and the election of 2020 or the machines. You would think that like Tulsi Gabbard, when they came out 2 weeks ago, with that the machines are all fraudulent. Wouldn't you think Fox had 787 million reasons to put her out there and say, hey, the machines are bad. We got to go to paper ballots, just like our great president says. No, Fox News went Fox on us again. No talk Fox. It's disgusting.
Oh, you got it, Mike. You got it. But I think that they met their match. They met their match.
Well,
I mean, just
I'll
look
tell
at
you
you.
what, don't buy any stock in voting machine companies, everybody. I'm telling you, I will never shut up.
Oh, God bless you, Mike. And
I want
you
to
have
say
the
this,
wonderful.
Mayor.
Go
Now,
ahead.
I want to tell you one more thing, Mayor. Everyone keeps asking me, how can we help my pillow, my employees? So I want to do it. And I know you probably do it on your show, but I'm going to tell everybody what we've done for this weekend, everybody. We had box stores that returned, or didn't they stop us? It was a line of sheets. $25 we're giving them. They were going to get them for, and then they double, triple it in the store. We're doing it for all you guys. $25 for a set of sheets. Our per kill sheets. That's split kings, queens. It doesn't matter. $25. Promo code Rudy.
There they are.
Use promo code Rudy. There you are. There's the closeout sale for $25, you guys. And a great company came to me for this next generation of energy drinks called Rev 7. No sugar, no caffeine. It's actually good for you. It's the mental clarity of the stuff. I know, Mayor, you think I don't need any more energy, but this is a different kind. Makes you think clearer through attacks. So it's
Actually,
Rev 7.
in your case, I'm worried for. I'm worried if you have more energy.
Well, I rode a bike. I rode a bike. You guys, by the way, everybody, go to the website. You get a 3 trial pack, absolutely free. Check it out at mypillow.com. Promo code
Yeah,
Rudy.
they got them up now.
Mayor, I should be careful. You should put a warning thing on that because I did take some the other day and I did a video. I was riding a bike all over Florida. So,
Oh, so you got some of it in you, huh?
yeah. All right. Well,
Oh,
thank
you
you.
look
Thank
great.
you. It,
Hey,
you have the greatest Easter ever, the greatest ever.
you
That
too.
was
You have a
amazing. I'm going to
wonderful
replay that. What you
Easter,
said at the beginning of the show was amazing. I'm going to
and
replay
to a
that everywhere
beautiful
this
family
weekend.
too. Well,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
family,
God bless you.
your personal family, and your whole family. You've got a big
Well,
family,
thank you.
Mike. They
Thank you,
all love
sir.
you. We all love you, and we know
Thank you,
what you've
sir.
done. And it's a shame. It gets us very angry, but then we realize the purpose you're serving. So we feel very honored to
Yeah.
be associated with you. God
You
bless
know,
you.
you know what you said at the beginning of the show made me feel good. I mean, it's all about forgiveness and stuff, everybody. And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I forgive the people attacking me. We pray for them. We pray that they'll get saved this weekend, like Jesus died for us. And it's a beautiful thing you
Beautiful.
said there. So, I
Well,
forgive all those reporters that know not what they say. Okay. Okay.
well,
So,
you're a great man, Mike. God bless you.
oh, God bless you. Thank you. And by the way, you do such a great job on Lindell TV. I want to commend you. You're such a
Well,
great asset, America's mayor, and you've done more for our country than anyone I could ever imagine.
you're very
You are a
kind.
blessing to all of us. So God bless you.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah,
that was
thanks. We'll see you.
absolutely wonderful. We're going to take a short break and calm down a little after that. I mean, Mike really, I think, moved us quite a bit, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day and I absolutely love it, and so will you. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. That guy's amazing and he's staying active well into his 80s. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a very special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Lindell. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Lindell. You won't believe how simple it is. If you want to feel and look your best, you need to check out Pure Health Research. They have 45 premium health supplements that are designed to help you with everyday health goals. Whether it's boosting your energy or trimming belly fat, supporting healthy blood sugar, pumping your testosterone up, or even reducing swelling in your legs, Pure Health Research Supplement Store has you covered. Each formula is crafted with natural, non-GMO ingredients, backed by clinical research and manufactured right here in the USA. And here's the best part. Pure Health Research is offering you an exclusive 35% discount. Just go to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. With their 365-day money-back guarantee, there's nothing to lose. So head over to purehealthresearch.com now, explore their 45 amazing supplements, and save 35% before this deal ends with promo code Lindell.
This is Rudy Giuliani back with the Rudy Giuliani Show on Lindell TV. And we just had a wonderful conversation with Mike about a subject that for most people would, well, you just can't explain Mike except for his great faith and his great patriotism. And, of course, an exuberant, beautiful personality. Well, again, let's see if we can bring you the details that we have so far. The details on all of these horrible shootings, do differ somewhat, and the details do matter because they do illustrate certain aspects of it. But it's more in the bigger picture as to the person's background and where do they come from and who they are and how were they brought up and what form of mental illness or ideology, if it's that, or thinking, or in some cases, totally inscrutable conduct, where you look at it and no matter what you can do, you find nothing that actually explains how this all happened. But we haven't started that yet, so or police have, we haven't. But let's see what we have so far, and of course, it won't be anywhere near complete enough to make any conclusions. And it's always, at this stage, it's always hazardous to do so.
That's right, Mayor. So as of this hour, the latest information we have, this from investigators, a 20-year-old son of a sheriff's deputy opened fire Thursday at Florida State University with his mother's former service weapon, killing 2 people and wounding at least 6. Officers quickly arrived and shot and wounded the shooter after he refused to comply with commands, said Tallahassee Police Chief Lawrence Revel. Authorities have not yet revealed a motive for the shooting, which began around lunchtime just outside the student union, sending students and frightened parents hiding for cover in a bowling alley and a freight elevator inside the very same building. The shooter, identified by police as 20-year-old Phoenix Ickner, is believed to be a Florida State student. The two people,
his name again?
Phoenix Ickner.
Phoenix.
That's right. The two people who died were not students. The Florida State University police chief said, adding that he would not release additional information about the victims at this time. The shooter obtained access to a weapon that belongs to his mother, who has been with the sheriff's office for over 18 years and has been a model employee, says Leon County Sheriff Walt McNeil. Police said they believed Ickner shot the victims using his mother's former service handgun, which she had kept for personal use after the force upgraded to new weapons. The alleged shooter was a longstanding member of the sheriff office's Youth Advisory Council, the sheriff added.
Wow.
He has been steeped in the Leon County Sheriff's Office family, engaged in numerous training programs that we have.
And his father?
No information yet being released on the father. So ambulances, fire trucks, and patrol vehicles from multiple law enforcement agencies raced toward the campus just west of Florida's capital of Tallahassee after the university issued a active shooter alert. That alert went out to
So do we have some film on it?
soon. So if we can, we should have some cuts from the shooting earlier today. We'll bring up some of these cuts. There were we have some footage from the hallways. Here's some students being let out. This courtesy of Barstool Sports, Florida State. Here we have students leaving, walking through campus, hands up, police presence on the scene at this time.
So they had their hands up, I assume, because the police, for the longest time, thought there was a second shooter, or possibly more. So they wanted these kids to indicate, we're not part of it.
Right. That's right. And if we can we play some of the footage from inside the classroom? And I'm not sure if we have that ready. But I
also noted that he made a statement saying it's too late because Trump is already in. Well, and the rest of that statement would be good to read because that could mean a lot of things.
That's right.
So his state of mind.
So
breaking news: Florida State University shooting suspect. Phoenix Ickner previously told FSU News, I think it's a little too late. Trump is already going to be inaugurated on January 20, and there's not really much you can do unless you outright revolt.
Wow. So again,
okay, now that, again, that's an isolated statement, but it begins to give you a picture of what could be motivating him.
Right. That's right, Mayor. Students describe a frantic scene. A 21-year-old student said he and about 30 others hid in the bowling alley in the Unions. Again, this is the student center, right? The student union building's lower level after seeing students running from a nearby bar. At this point, it was about survival.
That's obviously one of the people shot.
Warning, we should put up a warning. This is
my goodness,
I will say we're told this individual did end up surviving. That woman.
That's one of the 6 that was shot.
Yes.
But not killed, obviously.
Yes. Police response was almost immediate. We've heard from witnesses.
I don't think you're going to I don't think you're going to find on this one any kind of a sense that the police could have been faster or braver. I think they looked like they ran right into the fire.
That's right. And again, this comes a decade after another shooting at Florida State. In 2014, the main library was the site of a shooting that wounded 3 people. At the time, officers shot and killed the gunman, who was a 31-year-old man. At that time, the university canceled classes for a week, so it'll be interesting to see. What you're seeing now is footage from inside a classroom. I'm not sure if we can get the sound on there. Someone is banging on the door, claiming to be police.
I see that.
We don't know. We haven't verified whether that is police or the shooter, but it shows that some terrifying moments where individuals in this classroom aren't sure if to open the door or not. I'm not sure about you guys. I'm not opening that door right away. Right? I'm waiting.
100%. 100%.
Somehow there's got to be a way to verify, but I think you definitely don't just open, right? You somehow try to find a way to confirm who's on the other end. And you have the biggest guys in the classroom next to that door, ready to grab whoever comes through.
Well, I can tell you sort of just general knowledge, which is a little dated. I was in this business up until about 8 years ago. Florida is one of the top prepared emergency units, not as a state, but even in terms of their own local counties. They spend a great deal of time at emergency preparedness compared to other states, for that matter. And over the course of the years, states with very large universities like this have become extremely aware of the fact that this can happen to them. And I think you're going to see, in the little that I've been able to see of the response here, that it is a much brisker, faster response than you've seen in other situations like this. It may or may not have interrupted or stopped the number of killings. More likely than not, it did. And again, you're not going to see any kind of reluctant police here. You're going to see police very, very well prepared. That isn't to say that, and this again, it's just a general question. What would be enormously important for all of these colleges is that they do exercises to be prepared for something like this. So that, for example, in that banging on the door that you heard, the students and the police should have already had a code that could be used. Now, that's even dangerous because often it's the student who knows the code. But there can be other ways to communicate, including electronically, with designated students and teachers so that they can distinguish between a trap and the police. It's unfortunate that we have to do all this, but this is happening often enough now so that, my goodness, we used to have fire drills, of course. Well, how often is there a fire in a school? Not that often. And we used to have drills in case of nuclear attack. And of course, that never happened. So the drills are also valuable. Drills for mass shooting are very valuable in case there is a fire. The more organized and the better disciplined your student body is, the more people you're going to save. In any event, we have with us now Kara Castronova from the White House on a day where Georgia Maloney visited the Capitol. She's a particular favorite of mine for many, many years, and I'd like to know how she did and how the whole thing went. It was exciting seeing the Prime Minister of Italy. Kara, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Good. It was very exciting to see Kara Maloney there. I've known Kara since she was Georgia. Kara, Georgia Maloney.
I've known you for a very long time too. I've known you, Mr. Mayor, for
I
many
think I know
years.
you about the same amount of time.
Yes.
And I remember when they used to. I just always remember when they used to call her. She was from the right wing party. She was a neo-Nazi. Everybody's a neo. So there were two neo-Nazis meeting today, and
I
several
know.
others.
That's
And
what the
Vance
fake
is a
news
Nazi,
does.
and Head says a Nazi. So how did it go? What was your impression?
It went well, and I really do admire her because she is the first female prime minister, obviously, of Italy. Also, from what I understand, the first conservative one in a very long time. So she was here. It went well. President Trump seems to really like her a lot and really respect her. She seems to sort of be the liaison that Trump needs between him and Europe right now with everything going on with the tariffs. And I know a lot of the European leaders are sort of hoping that Prime Minister Maloney will sort of be a bridge to President Trump right now because she has such a great relationship with him. We got to see her come in today on the driveway behind me. She came in her motorcade, shook the president's hand at the end of the driveway, and then met with him and some reporters. After that, they had a luncheon, and then they went into the Oval Office and took questions from the media. There was a lot of interesting things that went on. Some highlights for me was President Trump calling some various reporters fake news, because it's always interesting to see him do that. And also, there was a reporter from Italy that asked President Trump if he still thought Europeans were parasites. And Prime Minister Maloney said he never said that. So I guess there's fake news in Europe too. And also, they had spoke about Iran. I have a clip for you if you want to hear it. One of the journalists asked President Trump about Iran and if he had, quote unquote, stopped the attack that Israel was supposed to drop. So please take a listen to this clip from today at that press hearing with Prime Minister Maloney.
Thank you.
They were going to pull that up, Mr. Mayor. But in the meantime,
Oh, there we go. There it is.
And they said the attack is what?
That you waved off an Israeli plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option. If there's a second option, I think it would be very bad for Iran. And I think Iran is wanting to talk. I hope they're wanting to talk. It's going to be very good for them if they do. And I'd like to see Iran thrive in the future, do fantastically well. I know the Iranian people, they're incredible people. Always have been very smart, very energetic, very successful people. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt anybody. I really don't. But Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's, pretty simple. It's really simple. We're not looking to take their industry. We're not looking to take their land. All we're saying is you can't have a nuclear weapon.
That's very, very interesting. Because the report was that Israel had proposed an attack in May, and the president had waved it off. We don't know how true that is. Seems kind of far away to be proposing an attack in May when you've got all these negotiations going on. And then there was a second report that there's been a change in the position. The president has said they have to get rid of all of their nuclear industry. And now some people are saying it's been changed to just not be nuclear. And if that's the case, then it would be just like Obama's agreement, which was they could get right up to the point of being nuclear and have a few days left to go over, not get there, and they would comply. So it's a lot of very, very strange stuff coming out. I don't think we know what it is. And a lot of people trying to manage it. So let's see. Let's see what happens.
yeah. I thought you'd be interested in that clip. And then there was another one I wanted to share regarding the Fed. I don't know your opinion on the Fed, but President Trump is asking Jerome Powell to step down. He doesn't think he's doing a good job. I think he believes he should bring down some interest rates. So take a listen to President Trump speaking about the Fed, Jerome Powell, in this next clip.
On Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast. Believe me.
Well, I think that's probably true. I don't know that the president's going to do that, though. That he's going to. The president, I think, would like to see a peaceful resolution of that. That could be a very, very difficult court battle, and not the best one to have. There are better ones where we have a much better case for removing, and you have to build up that power back slowly. But let's see what happens. He's very frustrated because, I mean, Powell made all those changes right at the very end to help Biden get elected. That has to leave a pretty sour taste in your mouth when the guy tells you I'm not being political. Yeah, when he tells you he's not being political, but he was just a few months ago. It's hard to accept that.
For sure. So, there was other highlights. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
You
No,
don't
I was
tell me.
going to
Tell
say,
me.
your thoughts. Just really, those are the two clips that I have for you. It was a great meeting, like you mentioned, and everybody sort of is hoping that. I know that I'm hearing that a lot of European leaders are hoping that the Prime Minister of Italy could really, obviously build some bridges right now because a lot of them feel like they don't have the same relationship that she does with the president, and they're afraid because of the tariffs, and they know that he's putting America first. So they're really hoping that she's sort of going to be the person that could come to the United States and build bridges for the rest of Europe. I know she has a lot of similar viewpoints as Donald Trump when it comes to nationalism, and she puts Italy first, which she should, obviously. And President Trump is America first. So they have a lot of similarities there. And, I think that they are probably going to meet again, probably this year. I'd say sometime this year as well, from what I'm hearing. So overall, it
Yeah,
was a
they
good
have a
meeting.
meeting scheduled. The interesting thing for her is she could probably drive a much better bargain for her alone than if she's trying to do it for all. Like, if you take Italy, Hungary, Poland, a couple of the countries that are very close to us, there's no way he wouldn't give them enormously favorable treatment. Now, Germany, where the new prime minister has already attacked him viciously, England, France, a lot different. So she's going to have a hard time doing a great agreement for all of Europe. She also has to have in the back of her mind, if it's Italy first, if I just break away a little, I probably get one of the best agreements in the world. I get one like Japan.
Right.
So it's going to be an interesting thing to see what she does. And it won't just be her. There will be a couple of other countries, Hungary and Poland, all of the Eastern European countries. Those are countries he has a deep friendship with. So
Right.
it's very different than the ones who are attacking him constantly. So let's see what
Yes.
happens. If she can do an overall agreement, and if she could calm them down, and they could start being supportive, it'd be very different. I think that would have to come along with it.
Yes.
So
And
is there any
Monday we
talk
have.
about
Go ahead. Is there any talk about what?
is there any talk about an Easter egg hunt?
I was going to mention that on Monday they have that Easter egg roll. That's that tradition at the
Oh,
White
good.
House when the Easter bunny comes and everybody looks for Easter eggs. And you remember the most memorable one in history when the Secret Service was dressed up as the Easter bunny to be able to guide Joe Biden on the lawn so he didn't get lost. That was that's what happened, if you remember. I don't think that's going to happen this time around on Monday. So that's scheduled for Monday, the day after Easter.
It won't be X-rated either, right?
No,
No,
it's not. It's
we won't
certainly
get
not going to
treated
be
with
X-rated.
bare breasts and
No,
bare breasts and other things, right?
And Mayor, we
no,
won't name
that's
names,
not
but
on the
we know who
agenda.
the bunny's
No.
going to be. We know who the Easter bunny's going to be, Carol. We won't name names yet. Maybe we
Stop.
will Monday.
Okay,
I absolutely
I
do.
need to know.
Don't tell me.
So there's, yeah,
keep it a
that's
secret
that
for
footage
now.
as you can see right now.
We'll have to give you a call offline.
I would love to know who the Easter Bunny. Mr. Mayor, you should dress up as Easter Bunny and surprise the media.
No, Santa Claus is my part. Santa
Santa
Claus.
Claus.
That's my part. Okay.
Okay.
Well, great.
On Christmas, they need to do. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy
Happy
Easter. Beautiful
bless you.
day on
Happy Easter
Sunday.
to you
So God
and your
bless you
family.
too. And I'll be at St. Catherine's. I know you know St. Catherine's very well in Franklin
Yes.
Square. That's where I'll be attending Easter Mass on Sunday.
Oh, that's so beautiful. God bless.
Yeah, it's beautiful. God bless you too, Mr. Mayor.
Well, she does a great job. So now you got me really going here. You know who the Easter Bunny is, huh?
I got that. Yes, that's
I
right.
got a
man.
pretty good idea who it is too. Now you tell me that.
We'll talk after the show, and then we'll determine if we want to
I think
break the. Yeah, I don't know. We got to see
I'm
if
not
this
sure
is
it could
under.
be classified.
It's going to be
These guys-
classified.
These guys are tough on classification.
They classify everything else around that place.
Yeah, I mean everything is classified. Gee, I don't want to get in trouble like Pete and Walls. My
Yeah.
gosh, I could be. You think that? Yeah, I see every time they have the meeting, Walls has to stand. Do you think he's being punished?
I was going to ask you about that too, and maybe we'll pick
Every
this up. Let's
meeting.
pick it up in the next show.
Every meeting, no matter who the three are on the couch, he's standing. Even when they have a different cast of character.
Well, to be fair to him, though, it's oftentimes the vice president,
Vice President, you understand,
Marco
and-
Rubio.
Yeah, but
Secretary Rubio.
So this time they had the Secretary of Treasury.
Oh.
And so Rubio wasn't there today. So today they had the Secretary of Treasury, and they had Pete Hegseth.
Okay.
And they had Wall
He's
sitting
still
up there.
You're right. He is standing every single time.
Yeah,
I have never
I mean,
once seen him on the
I
couch.
let him sit once so it doesn't look like he's being punished, even if it is not quite in protocol order. Well, we're going to take a short break. Oh, we're not. We're coming to the end of the show. Isn't that something? Well, we had a wonderfully long conversation with Mike and a great report by Kara, who I constantly confused with the prime minister, but you can understand why. They're both beautiful, right? And I just think it was really great that the president finally got in there someone from Europe that truly admires him and understands him. And that is not singularly alone in Europe. When you speak of Europe, and I have trained myself to do it because I made the same mistake, you got to stop saying Europe. You got to say Western Europe and Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe, Donald Trump is a god. I mean, there's very little opposition to Donald Trump in Eastern Europe. These are people who came out of communism. They understand what he's about. They understand the value of liberty and freedom. And they're going to, I can't say they agree with him on everything, but they certainly have they come into it with a different view than Western Europe that's been heavily affected by Marxism. Well, please spend some time tonight considering the importance of this night. If you are a Christian, the importance of just exactly what it is, the night that Jesus created the Eucharist, the sacrament that lives forever, and that sustains us through every horrible thing that happens in life and every good thing that happens in life, and gives us the way to God. And it's also the night on which he was betrayed, the night he was turned over for the beginning of the process of torture that led to his death and eventual glorious resurrection. So we'll be back tomorrow here at 7 on Lindell TV. Oh, no, we won't. Tomorrow night is a night off for Lindell TV. Mike, because he's so deeply religious, has given the entire station and all its staff a day off. So we'll be with you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, as usual, on X, which we are going to right now. That's the America's Mayor Live. We'll see you there. God bless America.